The National Hurricane Center started issuing watches and warnings for north central Florida ahead of Hurricane Milton's landfall set for late tomorrow night. Taking a live look outside on our DOT cams where traffic is lightening up as evacuations take place across the state. We told you yesterday that FDOT officials opened up shoulders as a legal lane for drivers making their way through evacuation routes. And just 36 hours away from the anticipated landfall of Hurricane Milton, communities in Mexico are already feeling the impact of the Category 4 storm. Waves barreled ashore and crashed into Celestine Beach. Milton skirted the northern edge of Yucatan Peninsula, including its tourist hotspots and cargo ports. Welcome to WUFT's First at 5. I'm Juan Chaoui.
And I'm Roches. Thanks for joining us. We begin the latest on closures, evacuations, and updates surrounding Hurricane Milton. The University of Florida is opening a temporary shelter in the Southwest Recreation Center for students, faculty, staff, and their families. In Citrus County, the pet-friendly shelter at the Renaissance Center is at capacity and no longer accepting evacuees. And in Gainesville, officials are delaying trash collection on Wednesday and Thursday. Officials say they expect to resume collection on Friday and Saturday. UF forecaster Matthew Clark joins us now with the latest on where Hurricane Milton is headed.
So the latest 5 p.m. update has it back at a Category 5 after it went through that eyewall replacement cycle, still over very warm Gulf waters, winds up to 165 miles per hour. But the good news, if there is any good news, that it's going to decrease into a strong Cat 3 before landfall. So Cat 3 is still a major storm, still widespread effects for parts of the area. Eventually it starts to go off into the Atlantic. Gusts, I see them to 200 miles per hour right now. Again, going to decrease as it makes its way to landfall. Wednesday morning, still a really tight eye, closed circulation, starting to see some effects here in Gainesville Wednesday morning. But as we head into Wednesday afternoon, you can see just how large this eye is. And there's really not a lot of rain down to the south of it because there's a front to the north of this that's going to be bringing in a lot of dry air. And that's what's going to be hindering the development of the storm before it starts to make its way to landfall. Wednesday night at around 11 before Thursday morning around 6 a.m. Still going to be seeing a lot of that rain and winds before it heads off into the Atlantic as we head into Thursday night. So going to be seeing some tropical storm force wind gusts. Campus cam right now though, pretty cloudy skies, seeing some winds from the east-northeast because it's bringing in some of that moisture and some of that wind from the Atlantic into Milton. Temperature 83 degrees right now, calm before the storm.
Earlier today, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis spoke in Ocala about how the state is mobilizing resources to get Floridians help after the storm. WUFT's Bianca Smith is live in Ocala outside of the presser. Bianca, Ocala is one of several staging areas across the state.
Governor Ron DeSantis spent the afternoon here in Ocala at one of the staging sites like many across the state. He says that there are linemen and rescue crews ready to go to help after Hurricane Milton. Over 2,000 pieces of equipment were gathered here in emergency response. This includes mobile bathrooms, generators, bunk and laundry trailers. Governor DeSantis says that the staging will allow a quicker emergency response. Florida has already been approved for a major disaster declaration. The governor says that after Category 4 Hurricane Helene, this isn't an easy job, but it's important.
This one right here is really good. I'm not saying Ocala's not going to have any impacts from the storm, but we fully anticipate be able to move people where they need to go very quickly once the storm passes.
Over 40,000 linemen are heading over to Florida from across the country to help get the lights back on as soon as possible. The governor also mentioned that there will be National Guard troops here to help after the storm. The National Guards that are coming here, this is going to be the largest mobilization that Florida has ever seen. Reporting live in Ocala, Bianca Smith, WUFT News.
In its latest update, Alachua County announced it does not expect a storm impact today. However, it has opened 3 shelters, 2 for the general population and 1 for the special needs population. The county says it's opening these shelters today to accommodate neighbors from the south who are evacuating and should only be used by locals as a last resort. Additionally, Southwest Recreation Center on the University of Florida's campus will open as a shelter on Wednesday at 1 p.m. for UF students, faculties, and their families. In similar news, Marion County is about to open some shelters of its own tonight at 6. The general population shelters will be in Bellevue Middle, Forest High, Fort McCoy, Horizon Academy at Marion Oaks, Liberty Middle, Madison Street Academy, and North Marion Middle School. The special needs shelter is at West Point High. Additionally, both Lake Weir and Vanguard High Schools will be pet-friendly shelters. Those going to any of these locations should bring their own food and other essentials. Pet owners should bring their own pet supplies, including crates.
Gilchrist County emergency management officials are opening several shelters tonight for residents during the storm. Bell High School Health Academy will be open as a special needs center. Bell High School Gym will be a pet-friendly shelter and open to the general population. Trenton Elementary School will also be open as a general population shelter. If you head to a shelter, make sure to bring all medications, baby supplies if you'll need it, pillows and blankets, and snacks. If you bring a pet, you must bring your own crate, food, water, and up-to-date vaccination records.
Alachua County has partnered with Uber to provide free rides to and from shelters, ensuring no resident is left behind due to transportation challenges. To access this service, open the Uber app and add the promo code at checkout. Alternatively, visit Uber Ride promo to redeem your free ride.
Take Milton seriously and take precautions. That's the message FEMA is spreading. Hurricane Milton is expected to make landfall in Florida late Wednesday, and as Bree Jackson reports, crews are racing around the clock to haul away debris from Hurricane Helene.
From boarding up windows to loading up sandbags, preparations are underway for Hurricane Milton, a high-powered storm barreling toward Florida.
You always worry, but this one, there's something about this one that I'm feeling very uneasy about.
Evacuation orders under effect in parts of the state as emergency management crews issue dire warnings.
This storm is disastrous. This storm will kill people. So definitely take it serious, evacuate the area.
There's fear high winds and storm surges will hit areas already left devastated by Hurricane Helene.
I have never been so concerned about a storm in my career. We've never seen one come at us straight on.
President Biden delaying his overseas trip to oversee the response to Milton and stressing the storm's severity.
This could be the worst storm hit Florida in over a century. And God willing, it won't be, but that's what it's looking like right now.
The National Guard's assisting with cleanup efforts from Helene, while FEMA is putting crews in place ahead of what's to come. Parts of the Southeast recovering from one natural disaster while bracing for the next. In Washington, Bree Jackson, NBC News.
Florida Fish and Wildlife is urging vessel owners to secure their boats now ahead of Hurricane Milton. If possible, they say you should haul your boat out of the water and as far from tidal waters as possible. If this is not possible, move your boat to the most protected area possible and set out multiple anchors. You should remove the electronic position indicating radio beacons and also life rings, life jackets, and any loose items that could fly off in high winds.
As recovery efforts continue in the wake of Hurricane Milton, FEMA officials urge residents in affected areas to listen to local and state orders. This afternoon, FEMA gave updates on available resources and how people on the ground can help. The main push at this time is evacuation.
Listen to those orders, listen to state and local officials, and take those warnings seriously. If you're staying in those areas, you're not only putting yourself at risk, but you're putting at risk the life of the first responder who's going to have to come and get you.
FEMA continues to coordinate with local authorities and first responders to ensure the safety of those affected by Hurricane Milton. Officials stress that it's critical to follow evacuation orders and stay informed as the situation develops.
Duke Energy is asking customers to prepare for power outages to last potentially several days. Duke Energy serves 35 Florida counties, and many of them are in the path of Hurricane Milton. 10,000 first responders are mobilizing across the state to prepare to respond to outages for nearly 1 million customers. They say customers should have backup plans in case they need to move their family to a safer location before or after the storm.
Free sandbag filling sites are open for Hurricane Milton preparation. Residents and workers are stuffing bags with sand at Citizens Field. White bags will be provided with a limited number of shovels available. Each vehicle is limited to 10 sandbags each. Public workers are helping residents shovel sand and place them into their vehicles. Maintenance workers say the storm is unpredictable and people should prepare.
Where they're loading them up for them and everything, so don't take this lightly, you know what I mean? We don't know what's going on. It says it's going one way, but it could be coming another way. It's just to protect your home.
The Citizens Field location will be open until 5 p.m. today. Marion County locations are open until 7 p.m.
For more information on evacuation routes, sandbag locations, and recovery efforts, visit WUFT.org.
Coming up on First at 5, protests held on the University of Florida's campus a year after October 7th attacks in Israel. The events that took place on campus and what a local rabbi had to say. That's coming up after the break.